had my own personal alarm clock this morning. These guys. Can't remember what they are. The grouse? I'll figure it out afterwards. Found the noisy one who kept me awake this morning. There. I see you.
Yeah, it turns out they were fulmars, not those aquatic grouse I was thinking of.
Not a bad place to wake up. And I have been looking at the wind turbines in the distance over there, finding out that's called the Beatrice Wind Farm. Beatrice, great name for a wind farm. And that'll, I'm not sure if it currently does or will soon, provide enough energy to power 500,000 homes. Nice. And I've been researching that while I've eaten an entire box of these. This is the last one. Ah well. Give me what you want when you're doing this.
And I was off for hopefully the last time. Today's journey was going to be much shorter than others, and this allowed me to relax a bit more and kind of soak in that I was near the end. And yeah, I was excited. 38 miles. Come on. Almost there. And after not long, I was on my final road of the journey. That's where I split off from the A9. On the last road. The A99. The last road north. And now that I was near the end, and with the slower pace of the day, I had ample time to reflect. This is day 15 of actually full-on cycling, ignoring the rest days. And this trip hasn't entirely gone as I planned. I've had a few surprises and a few things that I think I've taken away from this. I mean, the first obvious thing is I was very surprised about my original bike not being able to hack it. I tested that bike a lot. I thought I stress tested it, but I guess not enough. So I think there's always a takeaway there to really load up your bikes beforehand, put them through absolutely everything they can do on the trip, because yeah, I never put the full weight on. I always put about half, maybe 2/3. I think another thing that's really surprised me is how little I've wild camped. I was expecting to be doing it most nights, but I've only done it 3 times, and one time was not out of choice. That was when my bike just completely gave up in Tiverton and I needed to find a farmer's field. I think that's because I didn't realise how much I really wanted to be clean at the end of the day before I go to bed. So it was always a drive to find a campsite or something, at least like a lake, a campsite or something to clean in. But that's fine, I'm okay with that. Another one, music and podcasts. I mean, as Hannah can attest to, I can't do anything around the house without having something in my ears to keep my mind occupied, but I've barely listened to anything on this trip. I started listening to one podcast on the way to Land's End and I never finished it. And that was the only time I've listened to a podcast. I've listened to a bit of music, but really not much. I think I didn't expect to be enjoying kind of just soaking in the moment and thinking about that, like the video elements of things, and I've enjoyed that. Also this video making, I didn't expect this to become a big thing, but I didn't think I'd enjoy it so much. And I know not many people, not many of you are watching this, but it makes me happy knowing that some are. And I enjoy the process. Yeah, the kindness of all the people that have helped me out I mean, I expect people to be kind, but people literally were dropping what they were doing to help me when I was in a pickle, which I can't believe how nice they were to do that. And also, I'd say you experience the country differently when you cycle. Like, you really become aware of valleys and natural formations, because they make you love or hate your cycling. So you're aware when you're going down a hill or up a hill, and you become better at predicting them based on the formations you can see. A sad surprise that I found on this trip: these. So many disposable vapes on the side of the roads. So bad for the environment in many levels. Please, if you vape, buy a reusable one. It's crazy how many I've seen. And then finally, I can't believe I've not met another bike packer who's doing John or Goats to Land's End or vice versa. I've not met one. But I have heard tons of stories from people who have done it in the past or similar, who have got in contact, and there's a million different ways to do this. I found some people do the mountain biking equivalent, some people have done it in 6 days apparently, and I've seen as well that, like, there have been a lot of bike packers generally, and they're all quite a bit older, probably because of a hobby they're doing towards retirement. And I think it highlights that, I mean, this is very accessible, and I think something, if you want to give it a go, absolutely go for it. It actually makes me think of something I read on the back of a toilet door in Inverness, in a pub, which said, "One day you will leave this world behind, so live a life you will remember." Yeah, that really struck with me. So I never thought I'd say this, but thank you, Wetherspoon's Toilet. Thank you for that insight. But I would go a step further than that, and I'd say, I mean, get out there and explore. And if you're going to explore, challenge yourself. Because the bigger the challenge, the greater the reward.
Speaking of challenges, I had a challenge to resist some temptation that was heading my way.
Ooh, one more distillery. I thought I'd run out of distilleries. Ooh.
To be completely honest with you, I did actually go to that distillery, stood outside the door for about 5 minutes thinking, oh, should I go in? I probably shouldn't, and then managed to refrain from it and left. So be proud of me.
The last major town in the country. Wick. Just sat down on the outskirts of Wick trying to sort out something on my GoPro. And behind me, behind this bench, is what I can only call horrors. Look at that. Oh, despicably awful. Oh, amazing.
So that was me, heading off and putting the last town in the country behind me. And looking forwards now towards that finish line. And as I did so, I wanted to use this one last opportunity for a piece to camera to talk to you about something special.
I just wanted to give some background as to why I chose to do this trip. I'd always wanted to do this for charity, and well, my grandma and granddad were like second parents to me and my sister growing up. We'd be around at their house 3 or 4 times a week, before school, after school. Every Saturday we'd go out somewhere, often to the same locations, garden centres and the like. but you know, it was the company that counted. But then my granddad developed Alzheimer's, and it's a nasty disease. It eats away at the person slowly over time. I think they lose sense of themselves bit by bit, and you lose them bit by bit. And Alzheimer's, it affects a lot of people. Most of us will see to be over 65, and it will affect 1 in 10 of us as we reach over 65. If we're lucky enough to reach over 85, and unfortunately that number's 1 in 2. So I wanted to raise money for Alzheimer's, and kind of in his name, and for Alzheimer's Research UK. And I put that number initially at £400, which is being absolutely smashed by you guys. Last I checked it was on 1,200, so thank you. Hopefully I've done him proud.
And as the Orkney Islands appear on the horizon, and I drop down into John O'Groats, I think a good chance to look back at some of the things we've been through. So thank you.